What's up, guys? I'm Joe McGowan. I'm here with my buddy David Miller, #1 handicapper in the world. We're going to get right to the action with David's top 5 picks for this week's NFL. What do you think, Dave?
I'm pumped. Ready to win. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Number 5. St. Louis, who's 4-6. They're on the road against Cincinnati, who not too long ago was 8-0, but now guess what? 8-2. What's going on here? Who do you like?
This is a spot where we got to take the points, take the Rams. It's more of a play betting on St. Louis than against Cincinnati. What happened was Case Keenum, he came in for Foles. They benched him because he wasn't performing. He was actually looking horrible, to be honest. But now he's questionable with a concussion, mild concussion. It's more of like just to be cautious. I don't think he's actually got a full-blown one. But they're kind of in a tough spot because if he doesn't go in and then they got to go back to Foles. I kind of feel though if that happens, which is the likely scenario, I don't see him going to the third string quarterback who hasn't played a snap in the NFL. I think that he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, so he'll be up for this. And it's one of those spots you just know that he's going to play good / the play calling will be conservative / we got good value here.
You get 9 points.
Yeah, / panic because, oh my God, what are they going to do about the quarterback situation? So that's why we're getting 9. But usually it's just blown out. The point spread goes through the roof in these spots, and I like to take the points. And it shocks you. I mean, a lot of times you'll see the team win outright. He has the game of his life. But I think still, though, Keenum could be at quarterback on Sunday. So either way, though, I'm feeling good about it.
So basically, guys, this is a 1-unit bet. Pretty much all of the top 5 are 1-unit bets, unless you say differently. And sometimes the line can change or the prices can change. And a #1 pick, again, can be just out of the top 5 and not even playable. A number 5 pick can move all the way to your #1 pick and all of a sudden become a 3-unit bet. And this is even more reason, guys, we really want to truly help people. We want you guys to win. So make sure that you tune in and follow us on Twitter. This is where we send some live updates with different happenings and different injuries and different reports that will come up to where we can really help you guys to help kind of follow the games. One mistake that I think people have been making in the past with these videos as we go, a lot of people are betting just the #1 play, we've been finding out. We've gotten a lot of people on Twitter and on Facebook and YouTube following us now, and they send in that they just bet your #1 pick. This is a big mistake. Can you just take a minute before we get to your #4 pick of why this is a mistake, Dave?
Yeah, just because it's the #1, it could be the #1 at that price, or the #5 could actually, by the time you bet, have more value than the #1. So just because we put #1, we do that, but you should still look to play all of these. And another thing I wanted to say, the Rams line this game is what I call like a one-sided line. Because like you just said, Cincinnati's lost 2 in a row, yet they're still laying the big number here. So whenever there's a one-sided line like this, like, oh, the Rams are in trouble, oh, their quarterback, they're not gonna know what to do. When we have these one-sided lines where there's a lot of panic, you got to look to definitely take the side that has the panic, because usually that's where the value is, and they know it, so they put it extra high.
So as is, this is a 1-unit bet, and it can move which direction just to help folks?
I don't see how it goes up. Actually, though, I will say this. If they do go ahead and pass on Foles and they bring in the third string quarterback, it could go up, because that will cause even more panic. But to me, just more value. I mean, they have a great running game, conservative play calling, any quarterback situation in this game. I'm looking to play the points, 9 or better. And as it goes up, if it goes up, I'll put more on it. I do have some 9. If it goes down, just pass.
Okay, so it goes to 10, probably 2 units with either quarterback.
Yes, any quarterback situation here, because whatever they decide, they're going to make the right call here for their team and for their situation.
Fair enough, Dave. Good advice. Let's take a look at your #4 pick of the week.
Thank you.
We're looking at Minnesota. They're on the road. They're going up against 6-4 Atlanta, and Atlanta is -1. It seems like a pretty tough matchup. 2 good teams. Obviously pretty close to a pick'em game. Atlanta -1. What do you see here?
I think Atlanta and Minnesota, I think they're about the same. Atlanta is on the downer. There was also no adjustment for Minnesota coming off their loss. So I feel this line should be somewhere around 2.5, pushing 3. And I think -1's light. And I think emotionally maybe we're neutral here. But I do kind of I like to know my team's up for the game, and Atlanta's really been struggling. They're on a downer. They've with how many they've lost recently and how they've lost. This is where I know I'm getting the team that's 110%. Because week to week, based on how the week to week dynamic, sometimes you just know a team's not going to go 110%, and I don't know. In some cases, maybe they shouldn't. But this is one back against the wall at home, laying under 3. We got to take Atlanta here.
Any way you move the units again?
Well, let's say they go to a home dog, so you're catching +05 or +110, maybe do 2 units. And if somehow, I mean, these lines are really moving, public's been involved, I could see them playing Minnesota here, going, well, they've got to bounce back too. You know, they could use that logic. So if somehow it goes to, I don't know, +120 or more, pick them +120, so the money line, or +2, +2.5, maybe 3 units.
Sounds good. Let's move on to your number 3 pick of the week. We have a good one here, a team that I really paid close attention to last week because they played the Patriots. Patriots is my team, but I go with who you pick. I'm never, with my heart of who I like to play. I want the money, right? Mm-hmm. So Buffalo, they're on the road. They're a 5-5 team, and they're playing against Kansas City, who's also a 5-5 team. But Buffalo is getting 6.5 points. Now, I can't help myself. Last week, Buffalo driving with the ball late in the second quarter. I mean, there's like about a minute left. They get down there, they look like they're going to score a touchdown. Looks like for sure it's going to be 10-3 Buffalo, and Buffalo's getting 7 points. They're just going to maybe not run away with it, but they're clearly going to cover. All of a sudden, they go to kick a field goal, bounces off the upright. It's no good. Tom Brady marches down, scores a touchdown. Now it's a 14-point swing. Patriots are now ahead, and the game ends up pretty much a push because the 7 points came into play. But to me, Buffalo really almost looked like the better team. It looked like the biggest chess match in football that I've ever really witnessed. It's a pretty awesome game. So how does that correlate into this game with Kansas City also and the spread of 6.5?
Okay, this one's just like the Rams play. Like you said, so they lose by 7. They're a 7-point dog. So basically, the game went down like it should have went. But the thing is, the way you just described it, you kind of feel like in that situation, the +7 would have covered long run, if you were to run the game a million times more than the minus. So because of that, and this is another fear creates value situation at quarterback. We saw 3.5 on this line Monday, 3.5 everywhere. And so we're going, okay, Kansas City's favored by 3.5. Now it looks like Taylor's questionable and Manuel might start. And they might even go to Josh Johnson. So it's exactly like the Rams. Literally, we're up in the air. And what happens in these spots? So because of this, they move it 3 points to 6.5, which is, to me, crazy. I mean, because a lot of times the starting quarterback in these spots, they'll end up playing anyway. And then you're sitting there, and then it goes right back down to the original number, which is 3.5. So, you got to take the 6.5 here. It's a massive panic. It's a panic move is what it's called. And they know, and the Chiefs too, they've been playing amazing. But keep in mind, this Chiefs team, they have a pretty average record. I believe 5-5.
And personally, I'm not a huge Rex Ryan fan. I don't dislike the guy, but I really got to give him props. He had that defense ready. I mean, that was unbelievable how well those guys played. And just sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, and the game ended up a push for them last week. But I love the logic here. I love the number 3 pick. Let's take a look at your number 2 pick this week. We're going to move on over to the New York Giants. They're on the road. They're playing at Washington. And Washington is getting 3 points. Key number. What do you see here? Why is this your number 2 pick?
Wow. I don't know. This almost became the number 1 the more I was thinking about it, because Washington, okay, I like to reverse engineer other games to find value, because you can in these spots. Washington a couple of weeks ago to the Saints was a pick'em. That line was pick'em in Washington. So they go ahead, they blow the Saints out. So you're going, okay, pick them, they blow them out. Now they lose to an undefeated Carolina team on the road. So, they did get killed, but they actually have a 4-1 record at home. So they have like the biggest gap in like a home field type power ranking or on the road. I don't think they've won a road game. I heard the other day, I think it was like 2 years since Washington's won a road game. So in these spots, people kind of just go, well, they're a bad team, don't bet on them. Actually, these are huge spots when they are a bad team, but they rise up at home, which they clearly have done here. They're 4-1 at home. So getting 3 here, so back to reverse engineering the other game. That game was a pick'em with the Saints in Washington. Now against the Giants, they're getting 3. So it's kind of like there was no adjustment made to when they destroyed the Saints. You see what I'm saying? So the one negative we have here is the Giants are coming off of a bye, but I think that's overplayed massively here. So let's take away the bye. Let's pretend there was no bye. This line would be 2.5 because the bye is worth about 25 cents. So Washington's getting 2.5 at home to a team that was worse than the Saints, and that game was pick'em. So I think it's a huge spot with that logic, with being good at home and kind of reverse engineering other games.
And a few of the places that I've seen still, and again, we film on Wednesdays, guys, which brings me to a whole nother point that everywhere else in the world that you see, all these other little spots, they have 17-1, this, that, they have all these crush your book, do this, do that, we're 19-1. They're all fake. This is the real deal. We're filming in advance, giving you all this information in advance, but half the places that I've seen, they have this game at +3. So there's a couple that have 2.5, but the majority, I think the widely available is +3 for Washington.
No, it's 3. There's no straight 2.5. The money's really came in on the Giants. And then this is another one where you're going against the move, which is long run is what you want to do. Going against the move long run's how you make money when it tops out and you get it at its high point or low point. So this is a completely different team at home than on the road. And I was absolutely shocked to see these 3s. Just shocked. I'm back up the truck.
All right, before we get to the number 1 pick of the week, I want to maybe embarrass you a little bit. I'm going to see how you feel with this. This is a little surprise for you. But last year, I had a picture. You and I went down to the Westgate, the sports book, and you entered in a contest with the world's best handicappers, at least the guys that think they're the world's best, but they really are. We both live here in Las Vegas. These guys are the best. They pony up their own money, real money, a lot of money, and you turned your money into a check, which we have on our Twitter feed, which you can go look, and you're holding up the check of $146,000. You paid $1,000 to get in. Pretty good ROI there.
$1,500, yeah.
Okay, so this year, against these same top handicappers in the world, we're talking, how many guys enter this contest? About?
I think it's 1,800.
1,800 of the guys that think they're the best, that have value to go into that pool and put up their own money. We don't know what's going to happen because we don't have a crystal ball. We wish we did, right? There is no Biff from Back to the Future with the sports almanac. That's why you got to pay attention to bankroll management and kind of pay attention to the units of what we're doing here. But again, you're in the running this year to potentially have another $100,000 win just off that one thing that you do.
It could be more. It's a blessing, and I feel great about it. It adds excitement too. It keeps me really engaged in the lines, which I think is key. You can't just wake up Sunday morning and go, well, let me look at the lines and bet. You have to stay engaged in these lines from the week before. You have to look at power rankings from week to week. You have to look at adjustments. You have to factor in the perception. And by being in these contests, it helps because I want to be extra sharp, to be able to do good in those as well, not just my cash bets.
Should we give them the number 1 pick of the week?
Do they want to make money?
Number 1 pick of the week, we're taking a look at Arizona on the road. They're 8-2. Playing against San Fran, who's had a pretty tough year. Some changes at quarterback. They're 3-7, but they're at home, and they're getting 10.5, being Wednesday widely available number. What do you like here?
The 10.5. I mean, for about 30 reasons. Basically,
30?
yeah, a home double-digit dog. I mean, you're looking for a reason. First of all, basic strategy. There's a lot of it's basic strategy when you're picking winners, and then you kind of factor in some other things. But you want to play double-digit dogs when they top out, and I think it's topped out right here at 10.5. Let's just talk about why too. Arizona, they go into Seattle, they win, they're 110% into that game. Then last week against Cincinnati, they're down in that game. Then they rise up, they get that win. So I'm sorry, but they're on emotional burnout here. I mean, anybody would be. Put yourself in their shoes. It's kind of like now you're going into San Francisco and this is your chance to take a break. I mean, even though they're not going to say that, it's human nature. They're not going to give it 110%. And when you know a team's not going to give it 110%, sure, the line could be 10.5 in the long run, but if one team's not going to try as hard, which they're not, it changes it a little bit. And then you got San Francisco, just like Washington. They're doing pretty good at home. They have some huge wins at home. So once another team that's completely different on the road than at home. And now, so it's kind of like you're coming off this loss last week, and you're bouncing back. It's kind of like they have Arizona coming. They have no chance really to go to the playoffs at all. They're dead. But these teams, when they're out of it, don't just go, well, they're a bad team, I'm not going to bet them, they suck. No. Take the point spread and try to find some value. There's some value here. They want to beat these guys because Arizona is a top 3 team. San Francisco is going 110% here, going, we can really look good in this game. This is kind of like their Super Bowl. So to catch 10.5 at home in this spot, I'm excited. Excited, Joe.
So there you have it, guys. David Miller's top 5 picks, monsterev.com's top 5 picks. Make sure you check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.